Not really waking up into the morning time because I've been awake since yesterday or something like that. At the late of yesterday, I did brew up some new coffee. I got to itch my eye. My eye always wants to be itched whenever I try to start recording anything. Give me a second. It's not my opportune time to choose any ambition when I start recording here. Guess what I got next to me? Saxophone. Ukulele too. Not really. This one still. Let's see the present condition. I think I might be able to do a string change on that and then take the... Ow. That was fun. Just hit my elbow. Probably this one here. It wasn't like... It was just surprising as all. It was like kind of like an outdoor experience inside where you're trying to like kick boosts back into energetic rambunctiousness. You get like bored. You get bored with like the regular life crap where everyone's playing this game most of the time. So rambunctiousness right below the level of getting yourself in trouble or anything is usually an inspiration to get through all the tasks of the day. Yet again, it's all preparing for death pretty much, man. Isn't that funky? Some funky stuff. Funky. Funky. Just watch the DD Ramon video for funky stuff. DD King. I don't know how many songs there are. Didn't he do a couple? There's probably like a single and then an album. He couldn't have done more than a couple albums with that, right? I don't know. Just remember that though. Funky. You can't really pick on that. It's a level above the Scruff McGruff Crime Dog rap album, which is out there. There's a song with some really wonderful instrumentals. The instrumentals on that album, the Scruff McGruff Crime Dog album, one of them was called Inhalants. It's got that sound with the synthesizers and the bass drum and synth bass and everything. Yeah, it's a really great song. I listened to that a few times in situations where I needed to like get through the day and all that, made me cheer up a bit. I was listening to some of the Puzzling Evidence show also, which if you have any other people that people their heads will not feel very well. They'll request after a little bit of too much time for you to turn it off, which you'll just you'll hit slow. You play it on slow mode, crank it up a little bit higher. You have to hear some Puzzling Evidence in the Scruff McGruff Crime Dog rap album, and some of the DD Ramon rap songs too. And there was a Captain Sensible. It wasn't really a rap song. It was called What. That was Mr. Super Editor or whatever. I would edit in some of that. I don't know though. Yeah. I was eating some of this the other day. I had something that I chewed on, and I took a pair of pliers after I like realized that it was like almost like busted my teeth. Almost busted my teeth or something. Nearly much as you might recognize. It almost busted my tooth. So I took a pair of pliers, and I took another pair of pliers, and I tried to break it, and it wouldn't split. So I don't know what the hell it was. So I'm kind of like cautious. It's American cuisine. I feel like going to sleep now. I got like a couple more hours until I'm supposed to like turn the ignition on, let the car heat up and everything. I'm wondering about traveling with guitars and stuff because it's getting to be like cold out, and I got this, and I just pretty much. Oh man. Oh, what are you doing? pretty much just always wanna play music always. Don't even comb or whatever, but just always wanna did it again. Hair oils and all that. See, give me a second. I'm not here to get into it too deep or anything. I'm not here to just. What am I supposed to do? I'll just do it. I'll do what I need to do. I'm not here to impress anybody. I don't feel like doing that right now. I almost came to unifying every sentient being and almost every non-sentient being on the planet. Now I'm the enemy of humanity, so it takes a little bit of some adjustment for those resources of further self-survival and everything. This flip got switched, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, people aren't really acting like people anymore. And that's something for me to adjust to, because I'm not going to go and change the rest of civilization. When you switch topics of interest for what people are interested, people get programmed to be interested in stuff like movies and pop culture, and then all of a sudden people become bratty, spoiled, evil-minded political activists and stuff like that, and then they, take anything they might have learned from any depth of family and they just throw it away, and then they jeopardize their own entire futures without being aware of it. Meanwhile, in the immediate moment, people like myself get completely sidetracked from wanting anything at all to do with people that can be so egregious and so on. But so it's kind of a revisitation to the reckless recluse era. Not that I really left it, but I wasn't so eager to go back into that space of beingness. I had to figure out music production and like management and stuff. I'm supposed to like give music to like play for like people that make playlists, and I don't know how much radio station stuff there's out there. There's stuff that's worse than what I do, believe it or not, and I just play it in my own way that I do, but I'm not really like aching in the being to go around and network or anything, but it's the one thing that keeps the sustenance going for creating all that sort of thing. Like I said before, I'm kind of eager and, pretty happy sometimes to make sure that, there's a number of people that don't like what I do, but that's not really the mindset to have, I don't think. But I'm starting to see why G.G. Allen might have been so upset on this planet. Some people take different paths in what they do to express that kind of more than inconvenience of a mass alienating factor. But an interesting fellow, I might say. I like Ian Dury and the Blockheads. I like the G.G. Allen acoustic stuff. I like this thing called Ponk Media. The guy that was running that had an interview part one going on. And he was like kind of putting some albums out and orchestrating a DIY, you know, successful, like getting people interested in, the aspect of DIY. So I like to hear what other people that take that route without going totally trendy, you know. I didn't realize how much of a commotion or how much of a kind of like treacherous, deep trench of poisonous hatred that these people would have that are these yuppie, trendy people, because they really make it where if you have some sort of like grit on your soul, like I guess I probably have, from enduring deep wounds that they love to dress up and pretend to experience themselves. It's like this envy that I don't want to admit to somebody else possibly having, but it's like the fact that I survived a bunch of shit and never became on like that path of like a total downward spiral or anything like that. There's a lot of feelings of hatred from these people that dress up their whole identities in things that I happen to have to represent whether I want to or not. Like I have to play, I guess, rock and roll. It just happens that way because you have to teach yourself when no one else can teach you. And then what you do and what you play comes out doing that thing where you get to be really interested in who the inspirations several generations beforehand had come to be, to basically everything that's just selling all of the t-shirts off of the t-shirt rack right now and everything. So I won't bestow too much complainment. Can I make a word right now? It's called complainment, where it's entertainment that is, ragging on things, and it's just this haggard complaining. There's just these ideas of people's lives when things like grandparents existed. And there's just things like people's lives where you could wake up on a morning like this and find some people in the right minds, semi so, to go out for a drive, have a breakfast somewhere, be near like a mountain or be near a hillscape, watch some mist move through, sit, talk, have a forward direction. I don't think that exists anymore. It wasn't even, it turned out to not even be like the maddened politicians that push that sort of thing away. It's all these yuppie, trendy types that apparently want my blood or something like that. Or they want to make it very, very hard for me to exist for some reason, you know? And they all gather together and do the same ritualistic thing that's been worn out for so long, probably like 30 years by now. It's been worn out, where they don't do anything but just get drunk off crappy beer and act like immature morons. And that's just how it goes. I'm just kind of where I'm at with how I'm going to say it, and that's how I said it. And there's nothing constructive, you know it's the same thing, and I'm surprised they didn't get tired of it. I'm surprised the bands never got tired of it, playing the same thing, the same punk rock. you know Other bands developed and then moved on and things like that. Like bands like the Damned started to do really great songwriting, and all these other people, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. This guy's starting to say some things now where he wants to basically stay alive. He wants people like himself to stay alive, and you get like pushed into this corner by all these people that never had to get initiated or never had to go through the real deep rough of roughness, and still have passion and still want to be creating and still have that connection, a root to a muse. All those people that took the game on later without the hard parts having to be endured can go and, gang up on people like Nick Cave or something if he says something that basically amounts to the idea that, I want the outsiders like myself to be able to still establish having heart, effort, and success. So I would have liked to have spoken to or talked to some of the people that influenced me at some point, no matter how far ahead or behind, you know, having that proof of influence moving through me. But I still think that that same energy of trying to stick with it no matter what flows through me in ways that some of these people might have had, you know. Just, I don't know, because I just think of that. I think of like the beginning of rock and roll, bands like the Animals. I think of Iggy Pop quite a lot about that, and I try to be careful about not coming too close to like trying to be some sort of copycat or something regarding that, because I've felt that out a few times in the same way that probably like um a lot of people sometimes walk that line with Bob Dylan or something too, when you start wanting to do a story song or having a harmonica while you play and stuff like that. I've seen it. I fell almost into almost doing like a whatever you want to call it, but I've seen other people do it really bad where they never got out of that kind of jam. But a band called Hawkwind, like sort of kind of I did that a little bit with, but like that's not a band a lot of people really know immediately. But thankfully, a band like Devo, you can't really do that with because they just make everything their own in such a way. But anyway, this it's not cold yet. I think I cleaned my boots. I gotta get some stuff to get the flaps at the bottom of my boots to connect to the boot itself again. That happens probably 3 to 5 times a year, but I don't really buy new footwear or anything. They just last about over a decade sometimes. I didn't do it. I had a thing with guitars again. I got the ones I have around now are all I'm gonna need, I think. Alvarez up the fretboard on the Alvarez guitar is it's getting gunked. It's getting looks like chipped. There's wear getting involved on that Alvarez guitar. Where I've been taking extreme care of the guitar and it goes into its case and then into my lap to play. Or I'm standing up and playing it and then it goes into its case again. And there's some little dings going up and along. If anything, it probably should be this guitar. This Yamaha. Should be that guitar. That Yamaha. Because I just move it around a lot. But it seems to be in good, decent shape so far. I'd like to go somewhere and eat. You don't want to do crap alone too often and be the odd duck so often. If you're in a weird town where everyone's accepted as weird, but you have to fall into the right niche, and you get over it really quick, and you get aloof looks at you from all these trendy motherfuckers, and you just want to have fun, but they're so weird that they're not allowed to have fun or think outside of any galvanated splick, you know. So I don't know. I'm gonna get up, do some push-ups, some heel raises, heat up some tea, have another cup of coffee, search for some lyrics, rewrite Gobekli Tepe, which is a song, rewrite, figure out how to get the lyrics down onto paper, and I don't feel bad about it. When I play it several times, I'm gonna use a lyric sheet till I get it, till I remember it, but I don't ever really mind using a lyric sheet to play certain songs. If you have a lot you're trying to like learn at once anyway, I don't think that's not because you see people using sheet music and stuff for the the composition of the music scores and everything a lot of the time. So I think having it for lyrics is acceptable. Anyway, you want some socio-political commentary?